Welcome one and all to another episode of, well, no, actually, we're going to start something new. If you saw the cover image, this is the Uplift World with Cottrell and Jimmy D. And sometimes we're just going to do this because obviously we really like the Uplift World.
Yeah. It's like, so wait, I know we used to talk about other things, but I can't remember what they were.
We've got a pretty good week lined up next week, actually. And we're going to get back to that. We're on a bit of a hiatus. So, and welcome, first-time guest. I'm not going to say your name because I'm going to butcher it.
I'll say it. He's got the Ultra Jedi name. Like every single time I say this guy's name, I think this is a perfect Jedi name. Every time. It's Caue Motta. I never have name jealousy. I have it right now because the guy was named after a Jedi. I don't know if that's part's true, and I don't care. Because Caue Motta, it just sounds like a fucking Jedi name. It's awesome.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, I won't lie, I do like my name. It's not a very common name. It's funny how a name that's got just my first name has got 4 letters, and yet it's so complicated to pronounce in English. Like no one really usually gets it first time. But yeah, Caue works fine. Like if you would say it as you know, you would say it in Portuguese in Brazil, you would say Caue.
Still cool.
Yeah, like Caue is actually, it has been my official name for the last few years because I live abroad. So
you don't have to answer this question, but you can DM me if you don't want to answer it. If you don't want to answer it, just say pass. I think that works. But are you actually from Brazil?
Yeah, I am. I'm from Brazil.
Oh, we got a bone to pick. I was going to move there, but then they decided to open war on Canada because of spam.
What? Oh, right.
There was this thing there was this thing way back in it wasn't spam, it was cam. The Canadian spam is called cam. And there was this thing like way back in like the late 90s or the early 2000s where like Canada and Brazil, they were like angry at each other. I think Brazil was angry at Canada for something, and like as retaliation they just decided to like stop importing like cam or something. Like it was like a first world trade war or something. Like it was really weird. Like it was like out of all the things you could ban, it's just like, no, we're not going to ban cam anymore because that comes from Canadian pork, and we're just like,
yeah,
I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember that, Caue, but it was pretty funny actually.
Yeah, I don't think I actually heard it at the time, but it's very interesting that something that specific affected you directly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I went to Mexico instead, so I was okay. But yeah,
cool.
You know, if anyone ever watches all of these episodes, Corey, they're gonna know my life inside and out, and yours, and everything.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally true. Sorry, I'm just copying this over to Twitter. I realized I hadn't done that yet, which is terrible.
Yeah, so tweet out the link, ladies and gentlemen, please and thank you.
Right. I did load the short version of that video. You want to play that, and then we all like share this out a couple places and then come back. It's 40 seconds. Okay. Boom. I think.
I really like it.
40 seconds. What would you do?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Caue, you want to do the honors? I think you know how this works. If you don't,
yeah, sure. I'm really grateful to be on this show with the 2 original hosts because I have loved to see you guys interact in this show for quite some time now. I mean, what feels like quite some time, I guess in real life, it's not that long, but you know, it's for me, it feels like I've already really enjoyed seeing you guys quite a few times here interact, and it's nice. It's an honor to be here.
I got approximately 3% of those words.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Excellent. Jimmy.
I'm grateful Caue's joined us in many respects. Here today in in the project in general, in the Telegram. I mean, it's kind of nice actually. Like I should probably buy you a coffee or something. I'd send you a bottle of sake because like originally I was like the only person really awake during Asian time, and now you're there, so I really don't have to work that hard anymore.
There's like 2 whole people on our team in that side of the world now that are like conscious at the same time.
I
like it.
that.
I like it a lot.
You didn't tell us your story. Did you put one up?
Yeah, I did. I said I'm grateful for Mondays.
Nice.
Because yeah, I get to do what I love. Hey, if anybody has any comments or any gratitudes in the comment, I'll throw one up.
I want to say before I get going, I really like this is like, you know, most of the gratitude monuments are cool. They've all, you know, got different things, but I like the sea lanterns on this one. And I'm not joking. I'm not taking the piss. I really do. Like it's pretty cool. That you know, the
sort of feel like even if you're dead serious, it's still kind of funny, which I like. Because you know,
it's good. But feel free to fly around. This is our plot, and I don't think people have seen it. I want to go.
There's not really anything here yet. Like we gotta like, and I don't even really. I was thinking because this started to look like a bit of a square, which we could do. But then I was thinking, okay, you know, it's gonna run out pretty soon. But then what would we do? And I think I'd probably just make levels. Right?
Yeah,
and then works. Make a giant building.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if wax,
exactly. I don't know why not. I don't have a good answer for that.
If wax can go to the sky, then so can gratitude monuments.
That should tell you what you need to know. Right. If you don't have an answer for it, just go for it. It's a good choice.
So, Caue, we want to get an introduction from you, but before we do that, I want to go over a couple things. That's cool.
Yeah, of course.
So first off, be on the lookout. I kind of fell for it a little bit today, but you know, I'm pretty careful in this space, and I kind of, you know, watch my P's and Q's, and I don't say certain things. But I got a DM from Crypto Stash today on Twitter, and it's not the real Crypto Stash. Like 99.9%.
Really?
Go on to Crypto Stash's a Telegram channel. Sorry, if you go onto his YouTube channel, he's actually one of his top posts is like there's this guy that keeps basically tagging him, like copying every post that he does and sending DMs to people. So and you know, I actually had been having conversations with him in Telegram as well, so I alerted them of the fact, and I alerted a couple other people that I knew, you know, that had, you know, I could see following him. So everyone out there, just be careful, right? There are scammers. I mean, a good way to, I think, notice this is if their language is a little bit weird. I always try to verify on my end, but it's not always easy to spot, right? So yeah, everyone just please be careful, especially if you get something from one of our team members asking you to invest money, or you know, asking you like if you want to like do something with the Uplift, or if you want to like some special deal, like 99.9% plus 102%, it is not us. We're never going to reach out to you through an email or through a Twitter post and ask you for money. It's all on the website, theuplift.world.com. Everything happens in our Telegram channel. Just be really, really careful, guys. You know, and you know, keep us informed. If you see somebody impersonating us and you happen to be in this live show, let us know, or tag us in the Telegram channel. Likewise, in the Telegram channel, you'll notice an admin beside everyone's name. If you don't see that admin, you know, trust them. And like sometimes people might copy our names and put them in there. Usually it's pretty good. It has been pretty good so far. The community is pretty good, but you know, if you're weary, just tag me, even, you know, tag Kansai Crypto, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have in public view. I will never ask you to go into a back room. It's not really my thing, and I think most of the admins on the channel will be like that as well. So again, yeah, just be really careful, everyone. And I think we're probably going to go into that a little bit more later. I think Caue had some things to say on that as well. But yeah, that's thing number one. Thing number two, Corey,
yeah.
I have a couple questions for you. Well, actually, I would just like you can expand too, but being, you know, your building, keep doing that, and I'll just, you know, ask if you can confirm or deny. So number one, the Genesis the Genesis map, which you are building on right now, this is a creative map, and it will always be creative.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Great. I like it. And the survival map, which Anders jump started, and which is kind of almost full now. I think Caue can confirm that. We're getting pretty close to filling that sucker up, right?
It's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not completely full yet, but it's getting there pretty quickly.
So if you've been in discussions with Caue, especially or me or Corey, and you haven't gotten back to us, you might want to do that ASAP.
Agreed.
That map is a survival map, and it's full scale survival. Mobs are enabled. Skeletons will shoot you in the back. People will steal your shit and blow up your fireplaces.
I mean, I guess all that's true.
Next, the Chicken Caue. Chicken Caue will be a survival map. However, at present, there are no mobs enabled. There may be mobs enabled in certain places, but we don't really know exactly what they're going to do with it, and we're not really sure when we're going to find out that information.
Confirmed. Yeah, Greg was saying, and again, like this is one of our experiments with sort of the initial kind of DAO modality, right? Like there is a ruling council there that will eventually get turned into an actual DAO, and they're making decisions like that for that map. And right now they're talking about maybe having mobs only in certain locations, and it's still sort of under discussion.
Sure. The historic district and the new cathedral area, which was the whole original map, which kind of sectored out and became these other things. Right now, this is under kind of master control, which is pretty locked down by a few individuals, because we don't want anyone coming in with a homemade B-52 bomber and blowing the crap out of the cathedral, which has
again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, this map is, we're not really sure what's going to happen with it. There might be land, but this will be.
There's a lot I can say about Center City.
Okay, yeah, sure. If you want to go into that, that'd be great, because I think people are wondering.
So which is fair. So there, again, Center City now, and I've got pictures up on this. We're gonna have, I think, an article coming out pretty soon that's gonna have a lot of this stuff in it. And if you go to the 2D map, it's the first thing that you see, right? And you zoom in on that, and you can find the blue room there. You can find the spaceman and the Tiamo art builds that we created for Uplift Art. And just north of that, of course, is where the blue room is. And when you look at that 2D map now, a wedge to the northeast from the center, kind of looks like a pizza wedge of surveyed land. There's going to be rail and land there. And it's basically going to be, nestled within, Blue Room and the kind of, I'm thinking of it in terms of kind of being the art district of where we built like a bunch of really cool art things. And on the other side is going to be Legend Art, and not writing that anymore. It's actually in game, and you can go see it if you wanted to. So Legend Art is a huge partner of ours, and they're going to have an installation out there. And two, frankly, there's going to be Legend Art and another one that's going to have to do with music. So that wedge of land, the target for that is to do a sale at the end of this month, and that land will probably have a 0 tacked on to the end as far as the prices are concerned. And this map will absolutely be creative, and of course, any map that's creative is going to be creative for all time, so that it can't squash the economies of the other map when we get those things up and running.
Right. Great. Thanks for that clarification. And just before I move on, I'll throw this up there because, I think this is something that I'm actually in the process of writing about. So, yeah, as Greg says, mobs in certain locations is what we want. But technically, we have questions about guests being able to kill mobs. Which is fair enough. I think we're going to have a lot of really cool blogs on this blog on this subject in the end. And so the final one that I want to talk about is the financial district. Now, this is going to be full scale creative because this is essentially going to be the
financial district. Yeah, financial district is theoretical right now.
Okay, so if we have one, it's theoretical, but it's likely that it would be created. The other ones we don't know. Actually, there is one more that I want to talk about because I think there's some confusion about this. Londum. What do we know about Londum?
What do we know about Londum? So we need to generate the map for it yet before we can sort of show pictures of it, but it's really easy to imagine. Imagine the same rail grid that you see in the Gratitude and the Genesis maps. But instead of random sizes of land, all of the land is 50 by 50. And it's going to be survival and awesome.
And do we have any confirmation on whether mobs will be enabled in that survival world?
We don't. Okay. I'm leaning towards there being mobs for two reasons. One, it really is designed as a community experiment, right? And like all the land in London, except for the rail, of course, is going to be gifted, whether through bounties or the Genesis entity type rewards. And what we're seeing already in the Gratitude map is a really good sense of community and help and ingenuity, and I think that's a huge thing that I've been really enjoying watching happen. And Anders has actually been, leading that charge to a high degree, which I really, really love. So that it's sort of like you kind of have to pull together to and it's like you're colonizing a different planet, that kind of thing. Like it sort of brings an interesting element to it. And then, and this is Greg's voice yelling in my ear, there are things that you can't build or create without having mobs enabled, so you can get the stuff that comes from mobs, right? So that's sort of, I think, the where it all ends up at the end of the day, to have the richest experience that you possibly can, when it comes to the economy that will eventually be sort of associated with the survival maps. Mobs are kind of a part of that. So like not having them is like a whole other discussion. So leaning towards just making mobs a thing, and figuring out how to deal with it is going to be up to the players and to the community. Which, and again, it's not that hard once you figure it out. And this is coming from a guy who's terrified of those exploder things, like terrified.
Yeah, I do think that mobs are interesting. That's an interesting discussion, because if you think about the reason not to have mobs would be just because I guess whoever is not a gamer might be intimidated by them, right, and not really know what to do and just have a bit of a worse experience when it comes to just playing the game freely. But at the time that those people join in as well, I'm pretty sure there is going to be well-lit areas, and the main places they're going to be wanting to go to before they get used to mobs are going to be fine and free of mobs anyway. So there's going to be time to adapt, and that will, like you said, make the game more interesting because it will have all the components that are supposed to be in the game, right? Mobs are part of it anyway.
Yep.
I like the idea of mobs, but I wouldn't mind seeing at some point. Of course, this is all just random talk now, but I wouldn't mind at some point seeing a survival world without mobs. I just think it would be interesting to put that into the mix. Now, whether this ever happens or not,
I don't know. Again, like this is why it's all kind of preliminary, and like I did, for the record, I said I was leaning in a particular direction. Just in case anyone wants to try and hold me to any of that, I refuse. Somebody might come up with a better idea and a better argument for London, and I am constantly and will always be swayed by better arguments for anything.
Yeah, and I'm curious, just quickly as well, Jimmy, why do you think that would be interesting? And my question just comes from this place. At least in servers that I've played in the past, or just Minecraft in general, whenever you do have big cities built and they're all lit up, they're all populated per se, usually it's very hard to find mobs in the areas that people walk around much. It would be more easier to find them like in distant areas and somewhere that's more for the adventurers and explorers. That's why I'm asking that.
I'm not sure if I can. I'm not sure if I can answer that question, but I'm glad you're coming around to the fact that you're a vanilla Minecrafter there, Anders. Building
it's just a question, really.
Oh no.
We love you, Anders. I don't know, Anders. I think just I'm a little bit like, I'll be honest, like I'm happy that I'm in survival mode, but I'm a little bit jealous that I didn't get to build my dirt shelter without mobs enabled. So I think like I don't know the answer to that question there, Anders or Corey or Kelly. But yeah, I think what I like about it. So what going back to this one, what Anders had said is what do we know about life? One of my favorite sayings about life is, comes from a good friend of mine, and he always said, life is all about perspective. And I think if you have perspective, and there's varying perspectives on the world, and the way people think, the way people act, the way people do things, possibilities are endless. Possibilities for creation are endless. Possibilities for communication are endless. Possibilities for all of these things are endless. And I think like, giving people that option if they want it to put them into, and obviously I think I'm sold on the fact that if we ever create a survival world without mobs, we should call it Vanilla Sky or something like that. Just because that's his comment, right? Like exactly what he said, right? Anders, he's not wrong again. He's not wrong a lot of times. I'm just kind of curious on how often he's right. I'm not really sure. But yeah, he mentioned earlier about that thing. Yeah, and Anders, you do bring up a really good point here, right? Like if you have 2 or 3 people to play with, it's a lot of fun on community plots. However, if you're just having one person come in and they're the only ones on the plot, like because we don't actually know whether like we're not really sure whether, as far as I know, whether you have a plot that you picked up in the land grab that you're going to be able to whitelist somebody else, right? Like we haven't talked about these types of things yet. So all of this could come into it. But honestly, Anders, like you got a lot of good things on this, and I'd actually like to have you on an exclusive just to hash these kind of ideas out, right? So yeah, I want to bring this up as well. We love you. You're here a lot. I wouldn't hold this, like mistakes are made sometimes, and we apologize for this, but we're all in a learning process. But I would say if you have a serious issue with something, please explain it to our team as best you can. Like asking for free land is probably not going to get you free land. I'm just going to say that. But,
I can vouch for that. That definitely won't work.
Yeah. we want to know these things, and we're a really giving community, and so we want to clarify these things. And I think we're pretty good on making true to our mistakes and then giving back a little bit more. So no promises here, but like reach out to us and let us know what the issue is, and do it in an open, transparent way, in a kind, friendly, forgiving way, and we're all for hearing you out. No promises on the back end of that, and it might just end up that it's a learning experience for everyone. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. So we can plunge into some of these. No, I just wanted to bring up this last one of Greg's. No, vanilla Minecraft is a Minecraft server with no plugins that improve gameplay. There are definitely mobs in vanilla Minecraft servers. See Hermitcraft. Okay, so I guess we can't name it vanilla Minecraft because apparently the mobs exist. I'm gonna put these comments on pause though, but these are and thanks. Yeah, I understand this. I am like I prefaced this. You've been a part of these shows for a long time. You're always here, and we love you. I just wanted to put that out there for anyone else who might have seen it, and I want to address these comments, especially of our members who are here all the time and supporting us. So. Caue, now that we're into it a little bit, I would like to kind of turn it over to you for a little bit, because I you've been in the Telegram. I had a situation with a friend of mine who I introduced to you to help out with one of the plots in the survival mode. And right away he DM'd me and he's like, "Oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy looking after me, Jimmy? Like I've known you for a long time. Like, who is this guy? Am I supposed to trust him?" I'm like, "He's fine." He's like, "Well, where does he work for? Who does he work for?" I'm like, "Dude, you got to chill out a little bit. Like it's cool." So
it's cool, man. It's cool.
A really good friend of mine, by the way. Yeah, you kind of showed up on the scene, and you showed up in a really heavy kind of way, and which is awesome. I mean, that's why we love you. But you took a lot on, and you just came in, slingshot swinging, and you helped out a lot of people. You've done a lot of things in the space, but when someone with a new admin tag shows up in the Telegram channel, people sometimes often wonder. So as detailed or as detailed or as shadowed as you would like to be, would you mind, Caue, introducing yourself? Give us a little bit of introduction. Who are you? Who is Caue Motta? When he puts the Jedi sword down, what's the story behind the? What's the story behind? I can't anymore. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I get what you mean. I suppose. And introductions are always a good thing because, yeah, like you said, it feels like sometimes when you see people around a lot in whatever community you're being a part of, sometimes you feel like you know them, but then you stop to think about how deep you actually know, like who they are and what they do in life. Apart from that, and you don't usually know much. But I'm happy to share as much as you'd like to know. Actually, I've usually been more of an open book kind of guy. My story. Where do you want me to start though? Just so I know I have some guidelines here. Do you want me to just talk about the history of my involvement in this space and with the Uplift and NFTs and stuff, or do you want me to just explain a bit about what else, like where I come from and things like that?
Yeah, well, I mean that's a good question, and like if it was me, I would have to start somewhere, because if I didn't, we'd be here all night, which sometimes we are anyway. So like I think I just want, okay, so I want you to say whatever you want to say, but I'd like to ask you two specific questions that maybe you can get to eventually at some point in your little speech. So I noticed today in the Telegram channel that you mentioned that you haven't been in blockchain for too long, but somehow you found the Uplift. So I'm curious on how you found the Uplift, how you became involved in the Uplift, and what drew you to it, and anything above and beyond that, about your background or what you do or why you ended up where you are. Whatever you want to share is fine by me. That's totally up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I think I can get to that, and I try to be as concise as I can as well in terms of my backstory. But I'll touch on it as well because I think it's cool and relevant enough. So I am from Brazil originally, and I've been away from Brazil for about I guess close to 10 years now. I had lived in different places before and traveled a little bit. I've always been really one to travel, and including for a few months in the US on and off. But then this time when I moved away kind of for good, I went to Australia, and I lived there for 3.5 to 4 years in Melbourne. And I went there to study programming and digital media, which there are things that interest me. Before that, I'm graduated in hospitality management, and I worked as an IT management before. I've done photography courses. So I jump from one area to another quite a bit. At least have done that a lot in the past, just because I find that for me, it's not that I don't know what I'm interested in. I have a lot of interests, and I don't want to be a specialist. I like to be someone who's good in many things and not necessarily just the best in one thing, right? After I went to Australia and finished my courses there and worked a bit in different stuff, different positions, I ended up getting involved in this project, which was with two other mates, one Australian, one Indonesian, which was for this startup company in Indonesia. What the startup does isn't necessarily the reason why I got involved. It basically sells new cars. It's a platform to offer a more transparent option for people in Indonesia to buy cars, and it's always been a monopoly in a few big hands and stuff. And we try to just make that a bit more broadly available and things like that. But I'm not passionate about cars necessarily. What I liked about it was just to join the team itself, like the two people that I met in Australia and then got involved with became good mates of mine, and because of that, I trusted them in what they wanted to build, and it was a really good experience overall. Until the point where COVID came up and things went south pretty quick as well. I mean, I wouldn't say that we were doing extremely well, but we were, because there's ups and downs, right? Like in startups' lives. Maybe we were not at our top situation at the moment that COVID hit, but we were definitely not bad at all. We're actually doing quite okay. And then this, like, basically the market came to a halt in Indonesia for quite a few months. So the whole year was really, really harsh. And because of that, like a lot of my effort and everything that we focused on was we kind of saw that getting just not going well, going south, and that's not a nice feeling after all the effort you put in. By that time, we were already into the business for 5 to 6 years, let's say. And then because it was really heavy on that, and for personal reasons as well, like managing, my wife just was pregnant for the good part of the previous year, and then we had just had a son, so there's all that pressure as well happening and all. And then I decided to take a break.
I'm glad you clarified that in there, because my God, we might have got some backlash on that. Really difficult managing my wife and all.
Yikes!
Yeah, that would not be very well seen. Yeah, no, my wife is awesome, by the way. I'm only here today, and we've always only done everything that we've done because we did it together. Really, we're really partners in crime, so I have nothing to complain about her. And yeah, so that happened, and then I decided to just step out of a very active role, let's say, still helping with whatever I need to help with, still having some responsibility, but basically stop having a very active role in the company, and then trying to focus on raising my kid so that my wife could focus on her career as well. She works with logistics, and she's just awesome in what she does. She's already recently got like a global prize in her field, in her company, which is a global company, and she's incredible. And we decided as well together that this time it was just only fair that she focused on her career instead, since I was the one who brought us to Indonesia in the first place. And she basically came all the way here and found a way in a different country that spoke a different language, and managed to still create a whole career out of that. So this time we were going to focus on whatever she wanted to do and become in her career. And because of that, I focused on Caue. Caue is the name of our son. He's 1 year and 2 months, almost 3 now. And then after a few months, a couple of months maybe, really just focusing on him and that different routine, I decided I didn't decide. Like, I was also I started with this scene because I was looking for an extra income, like extra investment opportunities, trying to make sure that I could try to help somehow, like, even though I wasn't actively working anymore, I couldn't really just stop and do nothing. Not that caring for my son is nothing, but like just something only for myself that I could focus on as well on my free time. So then I'm talking a lot as well. Like, if I'm going just too much on my own, I can be like that. You can stop me at any time. Yeah.
Yeah. How dare you keep talking and answering the question that we asked?
Yeah, it's just in a row. So basically, I had already invested a little bit in Bitcoin, and a little bit in Ethereum in the past. Before all that, maybe at the last all-time high, like I think it was 2018 or something like that. So I had put something in there, but my involvement with the crypto space at the time was just, yeah, I believe in it. I think it makes sense, but I didn't really have, for once, a lot to just put in. And second thing is I was really, really busy running a startup to be able to just focus on other stuff, anything else really.
Hashtag ATHIB. All-time high.
Yes.
Investment
ATHIB. What is it? All-time high?
Investment Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat, man. I bought that's when I first got interested in it. And I had a very similar, thing. I was busy with other things. And so that kind of in the end saved me, because I was like, but yeah, I think it's interesting, when you find yourself, a couple years later, being like, oh wait, I forgot that I had some Bitcoin and I'm actually might be in profit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly that feeling. So things kind of just clicked this way, I looked into that again, and then I had a good mate of mine, my co-founder, actually showed me to the world of NFTs, which was just starting to bloom, beginning of this year, end of last year, and that's how I started actually buying a couple of blocks from the Bitcoin Origins project in Walks. So I was really happy and kind of spoiled just to be introduced to NFTs through Walks.
Dude,
I guess
if you got Bitcoin Origins blocks, you're crazy spoiled. I've been trying to get those since they came out. They're impossible to get. You must you must be really good with luck or something like that, man.
Yeah, I mean, we had a system in place here. Me and my mate it was at night, right? The launch, we would actually basically wake up or stay awake until late at night and have a system in place to just when to click on things, like our Anchor wallet setup and all that. But we managed to snag ourselves a couple of blocks and flipped a few of them. Still have a couple, and I was kind of focusing on that, and just mostly the interesting part in the start of my involvement with this was as an investment. So I was mainly trying to flip at the right time, because that's everything I knew about it. Right, I never actually understood the whole concept of the whole thing, but soon enough I started to see the potential of NFTs in general, and how they will. Don't even think that they might, but they will change the world in so many ways. We're only seeing the beginning of it, right? Which is the art part, implementations and all that, and the collectibles and all. But I think there's so much more just in the fact that we have technology available to us that can make digital goods unique and prove that. That's crazy interesting to think about how many implementations we can come up with, right, as humanity. And then I started to look into that, and the second project that caught my attention was Blue's Uplift Art, and that one was the one that made me stop thinking about the scene only as potential investment, but also want to do more with it, to get more involved and to understand, how I could contribute to this community and everything. I watched a video actually from Blue on YouTube, where he was talking about, I think it was Bitcoin Blue, Bitcoin Bull, sorry, the NFT that he had released, the video, and then I went and bought myself one straight away without even understanding much what it meant at the time. And when I did that, I got involved with the Telegram group. Telegram wasn't a thing in my life at all up till that point. And right now, when I look at the amount of Telegram stuff that I do on a daily basis, I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And yeah, then I went to the Telegram group, and then I saw that the Tiamo campaign was happening in a little bit. And yeah, I really wanted to participate in that, and I did. So I tried to be within the top contributors, but I didn't have enough wax at the time, so I donated as much as I could to be in there. But in the last minute, someone got on top of me, so I didn't actually end up getting one of the special NFTs from that campaign. But that left me with taste for more, and I wanted to do more in the space, and specifically with Uplift, right? And while I was there, like after the campaign and just trying to read and participate in the group, I actually noticed a couple of people talking about the Uplift World. And at the time, I had no idea that it was a whole project. I just understood it was a couple of people having fun and just, starting this Minecraft server. And I saw Minecraft and seemed to be like really good people with a good heart, like doing things for good. And I was like immediately sold. It's just like nostalgia hit, and I just like, yeah, it's been so long I don't play Minecraft. I'm just gonna go there and volunteer to help and just help build and whatever these guys are doing. And then I went to the Telegram group from the NFT, the Uplift World, and volunteered to help. And then I was, I explained basically, I think it was by Anders actually, that it was a closed group, and then I started to slowly read and understand it was a whole project, and I became even more interested in it, right? And I wanted to contribute even more. And then one thing led to another, and I started to participate in the group, like as I've never participated in any online community before. Like I've not been one to be the forum moderator or the admin and get involved as much as I am involved with in the Uplift, even before joining the team. So it was really something that took me by storm. I didn't plan to do this. It just happened organically. And that's the main reason why at some point I reached out to Corey and said, look, if there is a place for me, I'd like you to consider me, because I couldn't think about anything cooler than starting to get involved in a project that kind of, I don't know if I would say for the first time in my life, but it was the first time that I got this involved in a project just organically, and I just didn't want to stop. I just wanted more of it. Sometimes when you think about work, you just go after the things that are obvious to your skill set and that you kind of have to do and go after and stuff. And I just wanted something different this time. And I'm super glad that it worked out the way it did, because I can feel that I'm actually adding value to this community, at least a little bit, and that it's just really, really nice to see that I'm involved professionally and emotionally with something that gives me so much pleasure, and then at the same time has the potential to change the world and to help other people, right? That was a long answer, but I'm not sure if that covers most of it.
I think you got it. I mean, I think you you did a really good job. I think you've been kind of a staple since you've got here, especially in the Asian Pacific time. So I like the backstory though. I mean, I've never heard that before. We've never gotten.
Yeah, it's true.
So, and I don't actually think you talk too much. Like if you were just sitting there talking, it might be kind of weird. But like I think the combination of you talking and Corey building is quite interesting.
Yeah, it could work as a relaxing vibe, right?
A little bit weird, but yeah, like that's kind of how I feel. So yeah. And I mean that's kind of why we wanted to have you on was to give you your perspective. I think like we live in this world where like everything is kind of tailored, and people go for interviews and you're supposed to wear a black shirt and tie to a funeral, and that's a really bad analogy, but I think it works, right? Like who does that? I mean, like Corey and I were talking about like kind of fashion the other day, and it's like we know people. We've had people on the show that are like extremely successful at what they do, and they don't fit the narrative. I mean, Ken Bozak, one of our favorite people ever, is one of them, right? And he's like one of the most people in blockchain. And I think that we live in this online space where we interact with these people day in and day out, and voices matter, voices count. In my very humble personal opinion, but like what people do and what they stand for can easily be relayed through the way that they talk, the way that they interact with people, and I think there's a massive story there in the background, and I think it's good, especially in a place like this with the Uplift World or with Uplift Art, where Uplift Art is based on where Uplift Art is based on charitable philanthropy, and the Uplift World is based on gratitude, then personality, I think, counts for a lot, and it's good for people to get to know everyone on the team. And we call out and mention a lot of people that we work with on a daily basis. So it's really nice to have you here and for people to actually know, who the Jedi Master is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying. I mean, the reason why I got so excited to work with this was because of the people, right? Like, so I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't because I watched you guys on YouTube and I saw, on the internet, sometimes you don't really know. It's a little bit harder to tell like who people are, and how they see things, what their perspective about life is. But when you see people doing live streams like you guys do, it's a different deal because you're seeing something that is live. There's no editing, nothing like that, and you can understand how they actually think about things. You cannot edit the whole thing. You could just be fake to a certain extent if you're trying to. But sometimes, at least I like to think that I'm good enough telling when someone is just trying too hard to be who they're not. And this helps a lot, like this kind of thing.
All right. So after about another 2 years of this show, Jimmy, I think I'll be very tall. Okay.
Like it.
This looks quite nice.
Yeah, it's pretty ham-fisted, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hopefully, no one comes and measures anything because it's all weird. But I'm having fun, so that's kind of what I was going after, and I achieved it. Gosh darn it!
I think you need to plant some trees in the middle of that sucker at some point.
Dude, we don't have to plant anything because point.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. Now every third level, we could put a floor and have a tree, or maybe fourth, because I like kind of the open, like up here maybe.
Oh yeah, I don't think you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, man. This is your money.
No, this is our place. Like this is our jam. Your input is invaluable.
Yeah, I'll just come and exchanges. I'll just come and throw some soul fires places around in that open space.
Yeah, no, I sort of feel like that soul fire thing is starting to become your sea lantern ever so slightly, and I am here for it. All right, guys, I got about another 6 minutes. Is there any more comments that we might, or questions that we might be able to get from the peoples watching? And if so, I want to get those answered before we take off.
So we did leave off a little bit. Good to have Nick in the comments because he makes us laugh and we love it.
Indeed.
And the day that Nick can't think of a joke, then we might have problems. But apparently, there is a thing called the Easter Bunny, which is really difficult to explain to someone who's not from North America.
All right. I mean, it is inherently weird. I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense from a historical perspective.
Why does a bunny bring eggs, and why are the children excited about finding eggs?
Right.
Like they're not like eggs, and
this is to celebrate the Jesus waking up, or it doesn't get any less confusing.
That was before the Jesus even entered the conversation.
This is true. I'm gonna back away from this slowly.
Do you guys actually have chocolate eggs, or do you use real eggs though?
Yes.
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 You do, right? Yes. Yes to everything.
Yeah. Yes, we do those things.
Because
other people do those things. I kind of don't, but yeah. So there's real eggs, and you paint them, obviously.
Yeah.
And then there's chocolate eggs because reasons. I don't know what they are, but they exist. I'm assuming. That's what we do. That's the game.
Yeah, because we inherited it either from you guys or somewhere else, but we have it in Brazil as well. Easter is a big thing with the Easter Bunny and everything, the egg hunt. But usually it's mostly just the chocolate eggs. I think they just decided that chocolate was just the most important thing, so the rest doesn't matter that much.
I mean, I think they're not wrong. Brad said it's because the Roman Empire's need to placate the pagans as they transitioned to a monotheistic form of religion to make the masses easier to control. Now, that's true. Period.
Well, if you really want to dive into that, you should.
Yeah, right. Like, what kind of? Okay, any more uplift questions before we get right into the weeds?
Yeah. Before we solve the mystery of Easter.
Yeah.
Anything else related to the uplift?
Yeah, right.
I mean, just look at when just look at when someone was born. It wasn't December 25th. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. All right. And scene. Pull shoot.
But yeah, I mean, it's good. Nick's got some comments in there too, and we'll let you guys read them, but we won't put them up on the screen. But I like this one, because this cracked me up, and I'm like, back to the light side of the Easter Bunny. That's what's funny for me, because like my brother, I love him dearly, and his wife, like they have these baskets on the table and like rubber boots and stuff, and they have a really young kid, like a kid that can't even crawl, never mind walk, and the missus is just like, what does that kid need rubber boots for? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you buy rubber boots for a kid that can't even walk? So, well, you're not wrong, honey.
Okay. Weirdest way to end one of our shows yet. I approve.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tech Talk on a Tuesday, and
yeah, it's Our Planet Day tomorrow. I'm here for it.
Stoked about that, because we're gonna dispel all the misnomers about how Our Planet keeps your crypto safer than you.
Yeah, and just in short, if anyone's curious about this, because I come down pretty hard on people that are just like declaratively saying dumb things like Our Planet is stealing your NFTs, because it's just provably not true, and was like really obvious even to me as a layman beforehand. But like, they're using the same kind of staking contract that you do to stake wax, right? Like, or anything else. If you're in Nifty Wizards or it's staking dust or doing whatever, like it's the same function, right? It's just you're staking an NFT instead of a token. It's not super hard. However, I think we're going to get a better description than that out of Bonds tomorrow. So for anyone who's curious about that, that'll be a really, really good show to catch. And we might have an announcement tomorrow too, which would be good.
That'd be.
And may
cool,
I just answer very quickly? Touch on I think it was Greg who asked about the Seleção in 2022. Even though I'm from Brazil and I do like playing soccer, I don't actually follow it that closely. So I would probably be the last person you would like to get an opinion on in this thing.
So, yeah, I mean, Greg should know anyway. Like he ran like an actual like nationally syndicated soccer show. Granted, it was in the United States, where like the only.
I figured he might actually know a bit about it from the question, but
yeah, he might. It sounded kind of specific from somebody else who's just like, oh, is that a sports ball thing with where they do the ball and the kicking? I don't even know. Greg, I knew you'd say that.
I've heard that Paul Scholes scores goals. I've never really found out what Beckham likes, but apparently it's bunnies that used to be pop stars. So if you clarify me on that, that'd be cool. But I don't know much about it. And one more little update. And actually, sorry, Corey, I'm gonna throw you on the bus here, but I gotta do this.
That's fine. I mean, I feel like if we go like 3 days without you throwing me under the bus,
like a half a minute, just read it. And the reason why this is important is because this guy is another amazing, wonderful, awesome person who's on our team. His wife is a theologian with a huge brain. That's a published author. We are stacked to the max of.
It is true that I do feel like we have an overabundance of talent. It's like an overabundance was a thing, just an abundance of talent.
I mean, it allows you and me to come on here and like do this fun kind of show, because like the things that happen in the back room, like people. Our
leadership channel right now is blowing up.
Yeah.
Like shit's happening constantly.
Yeah. Can I just say, like, after I joined, I was at first I was just thinking, these guys are building this Minecraft server, and I was just hyped and all that. But once I saw like the whole background of it, like the team, the people who are actually involved, that blew my mind. Like, it's just every day on a constant basis, I get impressed by the amount I'm challenged and the amount of times I'm challenged, and I review concepts and stuff. It's just people are really, really smart, and it's really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, we probably throw you in that category now as well, Caue.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean,
but yeah, it's pretty awesome to have that like ability to just bring somebody like you on board and get a new perspective, a new valid perspective, because we all are different in the way that we interact, so that's really cool. One more thing, Corey, that I want to mention. We're working we're probably going to end up changing the time on the Crypto Writer Thursday thing, which won't be on this channel, which will be on the Crypto Writer channel. Because
we just keep doing our shows on Thursday. Maybe just add one.
Well, just for this one, I don't know what's going to happen later. But like, I'm pretty sure like Ken Bozak, who's going to join us, won't mind us doing it a little bit later.
He will not. He actually, the fact that he gets up to come on our show anyway is such a huge. Like, that guy doesn't get up at 9 o'clock in the morning. Are you kidding me right now? But for us, he does, because he's a freaking gem.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, we're hoping to get the Crypto Stash on, which is why we could point out earlier that there is a scammer out there to join us as well, and maybe a couple other people. We'll see if they respond. But it's just having Ken on or just having the Crypto Stash is cool, but we want to have a round table, right, about some cool stuff. And then finally, the nice thing about that is that actually will open us up to a new segment on Thursday that we're going to probably do on this channel with Ultra Rare. They're going to come on Thursday because that's the day, I think, the day of their drop for the horrors, the alien
cool.
horrors. So yeah, we'll be able to have them on the day that they drop that new series, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
Nice.
So,
good get there, buddy.
Actually, we have a new person helping us out in the background, and since the DACathon, this has always been super helpful in helping us to recommend and keep us on top of things. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. But I would have missed the Ultra Rares, but she was the one who pointed that out. She's like, the horrors, the alien horrors. I don't think she said it in that voice, but it'd be really funny.
All right. Hey, I got a meeting. Let's rock and roll.
Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hold on here. Hold on. Stop the screen share. Get ready with the button. Do the thing.
All hail the two hands in the air in the uplift.